Hey guys, Disler Magic here, and I had heard a rumor about some of the MTG codes, so I started poking around in some of the log files, which are used for debugging reasons. It's a shame the asset files like the artwork are so locked down, or I'd be examining that too. None of my Ripper tools can make heads or tails of it after 7-zip unzips it. It's this weird flat file. But anyway, the log is very telling, so I wanted to share with you some very interesting things I found. And one of them, the rumor's already floating around on the internet, but most people don't believe it for some reason. So this video is, hey, I confirmed it personally. Here's the proof with screenshots. So this first one actually is not in the log. It's in one of the data files that contains the cards JSON file. It's basically the traits of all the cards in the entire database or whatever. So up on screen is an example, and you can see it just says title ID 229401, which is a reference to some database or something else somewhere online or locally where the title is. And that's smart, because if, I guess, you were to change the name of a card, as if that would ever happen, then you only need to change it in one location, and then everything else references that. That is intelligent, safe programming. So let's say something happens to, I don't know, the text on a card, and you need to correct it. You wouldn't want to go back and say, okay, let's change it in every location where it exists. Oh crap, where did we put it all? Oh, darn. No, you put it in one place and have everything else reference it, change in that one place, and everything else propagates. Real simple. So that's why it doesn't say title ID or just title or name or whatever, and then the name of the card. But you can figure out what card this is. I mean, not from the group ID. I mean, it says is token false, so it's not a token. I mean, you got all these things to narrow it down. But really, it's just, okay, power 3, toughness 7, and then collector number is 18, and then the artist is Jesper Edgesing or something like that. And then the set is M19. I mean, you plug any of that into the gatherer and you'll find the card. So I don't know what card this is, who cares? But you see where it says set M19, that's the 3-letter code for the set. And I found a full list of them in another file, and it's very interesting. So it's ANA, DAR, M19, RIX, W17, XLN, GRN, and G18. Well, I found out pretty quickly what G18 was. That's the gift pack. I suspected that's what it was, so I went to the product page, and it actually says the set symbol for just these 5 unique cards is G18. So I guess they get their own set symbol. So that one's explained. Going up from there, Guilds Ravnica, Ixalan, W17 is the Welcome Deck 2017. I don't know, I'll just throw up here, Sphinx and Magosi. That's one of the W17 cards. Then we got Rix, Rivals of Ixalan, M19, Core Set 2019, DAR, which is not Dominaria. I have a theory, though, and I'll get back to it. And then we've got ANA. So I thought, well, ANA, what is that? That sounds pretty exotic, so I looked at one of the cards. Because remember, the entire card database has the set listed, so I just searched for a card that has ANA on it. So I just picked this one, I think, at random. I'm pretty sure it was this one. And it just says artist credit Denman Rook. So I'm like, okay, let's look up in the Gatherer what he's made. Nothing. He has made no art for any cards, according to the Gatherer. So I thought, okay, the next one, Ravnica Allegiance or whatever, is going to be RNA. And we don't even know the title or the 3-letter code for the one after that. So is it going to be ANA, and did they sneak in a card from that set? So obviously from there, I mean, the Gatherer's not going to spit out anything. I just gave up. Just kidding. I googled Denman Rook and found his art page. I would have been on his grandmother's neighbor's Facebook page if I wouldn't have found it on this site, okay? I was not giving up on this. So the first thing in his portfolio is this card, which looks like MTG card art. In fact, the aspect ratio is correct, and it's for a card called Blinding Radiance. It was also posted exactly 3 days ago, so I'm thinking, ooh, this is getting pretty spicy here. But I thought, okay, let's head back to the Gatherer because, maybe they screwed up the artist credit or, oh my god, because they've never done this before, spelled the artist's name wrong. I mean, let's just say they've done it more than once. Oh, and credited the art to completely the wrong person. They've done that too. There is no card called Blinding Radiance in the entire Gatherer database. So I ran it by some other people. Long story short, basically, hey, scroll down. Okay, I had never been to this artstation.com before. I didn't know you could scroll down, but yeah, this is the card. Yeah, if you thought it looked familiar before, you should probably have it figured out by now, and the reason that it doesn't have a collector's number at all, even though it does, by the way, in the code. ANA is the arena tutorial set, I guess. You play this card in the tutorial, and it's not from a real set. People probably thought, oh, this is probably from M11 or something. No, this card was completely made up. Now, anyone else find it weird that they hired an artist and commissioned some multi-$1,000 probably artwork and then put it on one card that they're not using anywhere ever again? So I have a feeling we're actually going to see that artwork or see this card again. Then again, I mean, come on, this is a blue card. Like, why is this white? So that little adventure was done. Let's move to the next one on the list. And in fact, that's the only one that I can't identify on the list, and Dominaria is missing. So I thought, did they actually get DOM wrong in all the code and just went with it? I started looking up cards with a DAR code, and one of the first ones I found was this one. So it's collector number 1, the very first card in the set, and it was made by Chase Stone. Well, that's easy. Always watching, right? That's the very first card in the set, and it was made by Chase Stone. Well, that's what I thought until about 50 people in the comment section on the earlier version of this video reminded me that it says Rarity 5, which is already wrong, CMC 4, which is wrong, Toughness 5, which that doesn't even make sense. Although I gotta say, when you find out what card this really is, that also doesn't make sense. Well, in fact, the flavor ID should be null. Okay, anyway, I'm covering for myself making a massive mistake. This is Karn. I know, right? What are the odds? Chase Stone did the artwork for collector number 1 in 2 different sets, both of which I'm familiar with. Oops. So unfortunately, no, it seems that the rumor that people are spreading around on the internet that, oh, older cards confirmed, they're adding cards from Shadows confirmed, I don't know what the hell they're talking about. I found absolutely zero evidence of it. So maybe it's in the ANA list, maybe they fell for this like I did and didn't check it properly, I have no idea. Maybe they did like an ASCII rip of the asset files and then found some reference to an old mechanic or something, but the rumor is they started working on Arena during Shadows and they just like couldn't get it done or something. I don't think that fits with the timeline I'm familiar with, but who knows? I mean, they could have been working on it before they announced it, and they didn't announce a start date for working on it, so who knows? But then again, don't you think that would seem kind of counterproductive, like extremely counterproductive to design a whole bunch of mechanics and then just immediately remove them from the game before you even release it? Well, what we do have from Wizards of the Coast is a statement on this. I thought I knew which article it was in, and apparently I don't, and I'm too lazy to go find it. But the gist of it was, we're looking into options for what to do after standard rotation. Like, basically assuring us they're going to do something with the older cards when they cycle out. So, theoretically, as of this Friday, we're exactly a year away from that, so it'll be a while before we know. But what will it be? Extended, Frontier, some kind of weird temporary thing, like a 1 day thing, a 1 week thing. And then if they did go into older cards, because like I said, that's the confirmation. I don't need to find anything in the code. They said it. What about people who start playing later, and how long are they going to hold them? Are they going to have cards from, Kaladesh 5 years from now still in the game? I mean, I didn't have a problem with them just nuking it, because that's what happens in paper. You lose access to all the cards. It's that simple. You lose everything. It's honestly still less disruptive than a full server wipe. If you're just like, oh, I lost 4 out of my 8 decks, but these are still playable and I can, patch them. Or even if they're like, hey, take 5% of your card collection and have it in wild cards. Actually, geez, even 5% would be high. I had virtually every card that existed before the wipe. Or common and uncommon, I should say. But yeah, I mean, I don't see the need to hold on to it. How would people do it? I mean, if you're going to let 15 sets be legal or whatever, let people go back to Kaladesh, they're going to have to burn wild cards on it, and I only have so many wild cards, you know what I mean? Like me, I started playing when the beta was open. Okay, cool. This is the last wipe. But for anyone who jumps on Arena later, its primary focus is standard. Everything is standard. Even Singleton is standard. If they add Brawl, surprise, it'll be standard. So why would somebody waste their wild cards on some older cards that they can't use for any other event but like one, if that's how they're going to do it? So, I mean, maybe it's something I'm not thinking of. Maybe it won't be as bad as I thought. Otherwise, I wouldn't mind if they went back on the word on that and did absolutely nothing with the cards after standard. But then again, they took all the time coding them and making the art, making the animations, and then just throw it all away. But then again, that's Magic. It has rotation. They knew this. But here's my theory. I think this would be the best way to implement it, money-wise, happy customer-wise, and from a practicality standpoint. Just do like not really like a chaos draft, but like maybe an old draft. Like we'll do... It could even be, Theros, Journey into Nyx, and that other one that people hated, Born of the Gods. There you go. You get 1 booster from each, and you do a draft. And then you know how a draft is, I believe, 5,000 coins right now. Hello. Okay, let's talk about that for a second. It's so expensive because you can handpick the cards you need. And when the draft is over, the draft is over. You go through the draft tournament, and ta-da, there's your draft. But just the fact that you could be playing blue-white and then a big red mythic comes around that you're like, oh my god, I need that for my deck. You could draft it, just spike the tournament a little bit. I mean, it probably wouldn't even affect your progress that much. You'd just lose 1 draw or one draft pick, whatever. But ta-da, you now own that card. So the fact that you could just go through a draft, not give a crap about the results at all, and just grab every single card that you want for any of your 4, 5, 6 constructed decks, they had to make it 5,000 coins. But who the actual hell has 5,000 coins? I don't even know how many gems it is. It's probably a buttload. So nobody wants any part of that. So what they should do is like a 250 coin or maybe even 500 coin throwaway draft, where you draft older stuff. You draft Shadows of Innistrad and Eldritch Moon or something. And then, yeah, there's prizes, there's coins, you get cards, packs, whatever, but you don't keep any of the cards that you draft. So honestly, just think about that. A draft where you don't keep any of the cards, so you can actually draft. You don't have to say, oh man, I've been waiting for a mythic wild card forever. Oh crap, this Planeswalker just showed up, but that's not on color, but I need him. It's terrible. Draft on Arena is the worst thing ever. So I'm thinking that they're going to implement older sets draftable. And think about it. What do draft people want to do? They want to draft older sets because that's fun. You know, I would draft Theros and I hate draft. So to me, that makes way more sense than some pseudo extended frontier demi-modern whatever format where you got to burn wildcards to get, you know, stuff for some narrow little specific thing. That just seems stupid and impractical. So logically to me, I would say it's virtually guaranteed that they're just going to do a throwaway draft and it'll be cheaper. Hell, they could even do it for free like they do right now as a promotional thing. It's like, oh, it's throwback weekend. Here, everybody play this for free. So that's my theory, but is there anything supported in the code that I found that even hints at the fact that they're programming in something older? Yes, so let's get to that. Because honestly, these last two, I saved the best for last. These are very interesting. Very, very interesting. They have a list of all formats that are programmed into the game right now, and there's only 3, actually. Although I have evidence that there's 7, because it looked like the parameter being fed into the function or subroutine was 7, but then I found a contradictory reference elsewhere in the, not the code, but the log. I didn't rip apart the code. That's probably illegal. I mean, I don't even have a decompiler, nor would I know how to use one. But like in the output log, the debug log for the game, they had stated that it was like the function number 7 and it was being passed nothing as a parameter. I've probably lost just about every at this point, but basically there's either 7 formats in the game and they're only showing 3, or that was a mistake and there's only 3. So we've got standard. You can see that's the set list right there. Funny because G18 ain't out yet, but it's going to be out in November, so I guess they just added it. And then it says banned cards rampaging for Usadon. And I thought, well, there's more banned than that. Oh, that's right. It's a bunch of energy crap, that desert, Space Egypt cycled out, and yeah, I think the only banned card left in standard is Rampaging for Usadon. In fact, they're probably going to unban it, which they didn't today, by the way. Spoiler alert. You know what, that stupid dinosaur would be so toxic to the meta right now, screw it, leave it banned. But here's a fun little nugget for you. Here's Singleton. Isn't that interesting? The only card banned in Singleton is Smuggler's Copter, which, I don't know if that card's actually banned in actual Singleton, but either way, the point is, that's an older card that already cycled out, and the game has already been patched to cycle the cards out. Why would they still reference that? And you might be thinking, oh, but it's because they just left it in there. You know, oops, who cares? It doesn't affect anything. But they didn't leave any of the banned cards on the list for standard. So is Singleton going to be the format that they choose for older cards? And it makes sense if they're going to say, oh, play in this Singleton event, and also you can use cards going all the way back to blah, you know, whatever, Shadows or something. Because in Singleton, you can only run one of every card, so you're going to need a better pool, or otherwise it's just weak, slow crap, which I have no problem with. That's fun to me. So that is very interesting that Smuggler's Copter is still on that list. It kind of indicates that this will be the slightly older than standard format. But wait, it gets weirder. What's the third one? Well, it's obviously Pauper. They've held a Pauper tournament, I think, right before rotation. I didn't play in it because I just didn't feel like building that deck. I'm sure it would be wonderful, but check this out. So the sets listed are the same as any other one. It's the same ones that are in the game right now, and a couple that aren't. And then it says banned cards. This is all of them. Like, this is the Pauper ban list right here. There are 10 cards banned in Pauper, and those are the 10. So Cloud of Fairies, Cloud Post, I mean, Cranial Plating. Ooh, we're going back. I mean, I think the newest one on this list is either Empty the Warrens or Treasure Cruise. I think it's Treasure Cruise. And I also think that was, what, Khans of Tarkir block or something? I don't know. All I know is it hasn't been in standard for a while, and neither has Cloud Post. I mean, come on. So why reference cards on the ban list that aren't relevant when on the standard ban list they aren't even referencing like the other 8 cards that were banned in standard recently? So if they're just going to copy and paste the ban list in just in case, then why didn't they do it for any of the other formats? So that is really interesting. So are they planning to add in all those cards? Well, not even those cards. I mean, they're banned. Why would they add them? But they're the sets that they came from. So are they adding every card in existence to Arena? This seems to suggest yes. So a lot to think about there. That is very interesting. And the only other interesting thing I want to show off was Vanity Items. I showed this at the end of that other video because it was on screen anyway, so I just zoomed up on it like, hey, look at this. This actually was from the debug log, which just dumps everything. All the data, all the functions, every action that you took in every game, everything. That way if something crashed, they know what happened right before it, and they can narrow down what function was called, what action was taken, what sequence, and then they find a pattern and fix it. So wonderful. Hey, next time encrypt your log. So there's a reference to Vanity Items, which they already said this in like a press release about the game. They said they'll be adding in special card backs, or as any reasonable person would call them, sleeves. And then obviously avatars. I mean, they went from what, like a choice of, I think it was like 3 or something in the way early beta to, what do you got to choose from now, 12 or something like that. They added in like a Johnny and a couple other cool ones. Obviously, they'll have some premium avatars that you can buy with coins or gems. I mean, duh. They would not add cosmetics to a game like this that's totally freemium. I mean, that would be crazy. And plus, I think people told me like Hearthstone and Pokemon both do this, so why not? So you'll be able to buy custom avatars and card backs, but what's that third one? Pets. What exactly do pets have to do with MTG? Well, besides all those videos with Nala, the golden retriever, in it on my channel where we taught her how to play Magic. Now everybody's saying, oh, well, it says, pet selection null. Well, that means that they turn pet selection off. No, this is an output log. I mean, yeah, it describes the game state or whatever. But we can select our own avatars, and it says avatar selection null too. So I guess they're just, if I selected number 3, a Johnny, it should have said avatar selection 3. But instead it says null because they just didn't make that part of the log generating thing yet. That's my guess, at least. So the real question is, what would pets do? I mean, what part of the game would it be in? Do they crawl around while you're trying to build a deck? Do they replace that little fairy thing flying around yelling at you? Or is it finally going to be something that I have had as a running gag for the last 3 years on my channel, which is a little monkey crawls down off your shoulder and draws a card for you and then untaps all your mana? I gotta say, I'm dead set against spending any reasonable kind of money in Arena, but that would really be testing me. You have a little monkey crawl down onto the screen and grab a card off my library and put it in my hand. I might spend some money on that. I'll be perfectly honest with you, Wizards. But maybe instead of the spell or the creature hitting them, your little cat claws their life total, which would be stupid because you'd kind of want to know from the animation which card was dealing the damage. I don't know, besides cutesy little animations and stuff, or a little cat just running around on the thing and kind of sleeping on top of your cards, which would kind of kill readability. I don't know how else it would be implemented. It would be really cool if a monkey drew some cards. That's all I'm saying. And that makes most sense to me logically from a game design perspective. So what do you think that is? Speculate on this, speculate on anything. Are they adding in every card ever printed? Whatever you want. If you got additional information or somebody leaked even more from the log, because I mean, it's a trillion characters, so I didn't read the whole thing. What other stuff are people uncovering? Leave your thoughts or comments or additional information down in the comment section. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next video.